on the AWS Marketplace, for example. This is a high-level overview on the landing zone foundation from the AWS Control Tower. So from the management account, you can see the Control Tower is utilizing the AWS organizations and builds the landing zone on top of it. So for identity and access management, AWS SSO is used, which is now called IAM Identity Center. It comes with two organizational units, the security and the sandbox. Of course, you can skip the additional and also rename it if you want. But in our case, we just use it as it is. And so the security, the log archive and the audit accounts, they will automatically be added to the security organizational unit. And the sandbox account, for example, sandbox OU, for example, is used for future accounts that will be provisioned. So every control tower managed account comes also with a baseline, which is created, which creates some default resources like IAM roles and policies, config rules, and other guardrails. And this is rolled out automatically to each account which is managed by the AWS Control Tower. So this is done via these CloudFormation stack sets, which you can see here. These CloudFormation stack sets are placed in the management account, and they are, if you're familiar with CloudFormation, you have different possibilities of deploying stack sets into organizations. And most of these stack sets here are service managed. That means that automatically, if a new account is added to an organizational unit, this stack set configuration is applied to this account automatically. And on the other side, you can see the AWS Service Catalog, which is the basis for foundation for our account factory. So I will later demonstrate how to use the account factory, but you have different approaches. So you can use it through the control tower console or directly in the AWS Service Catalog, but both are pointing to the same. So the account factory is configured in the AWS Service Catalog. So the log archive account has is the account which gathers the logs for the whole organization. So for example, the CloudTrail or config logs, and this is automatically configured as destination in every account. So every account in your environment, which is deployed through Cloud Control Tower configuration, will automatically forward all his logs to the centralized log archive account, S3 bucket. And the audit account, for example, this is the security account which holds all security related services and configurations. And from there on, you also have higher permissions, for example, to go into accounts in emergency cases, or if you want to use like security toolings, this might be the account which you want to use to manage your environment. Yeah, so the future provisioned accounts, like I already said, they will also get the account baseline deployed. So they follow the guardrails and can be managed by the control tower. And it is also possible to define a network baseline depending on your personal or customer requirements. For example, if customer has two different types of accounts, like one for intranet, one for internet, you can define these baselines also based on the organizational units and automatically apply to the accounts. So we have, like I already mentioned, two types of guardrails, preventive and detective. So the guardrails, yeah, the main difference between the preventive and detective guardrail is that the preventive guardrail is using SCPs to prevent actions in the AWS account. So the users will not be able to change things. That means that the account will always be compliant, as you can see here. Where the detective guardrail is using AWS config rules to track if resources or configurations are not compliant in the account. We will also have a demonstration later on how this works. But if this resource or account is marked as non-compliant, this will not initially forbid the user to do some changes, for example. So the detective guardrail will mark the account as non-compliant. You can see this in the control tower dashboard. And from there on, you can plan further steps that can be initiated. For example, you can also implement an automated remediation if you want to have it automatically being remediated, or you can also do this remediation manually, of course. All right, so to summarize, the AWS control tower is a kind of extent of your landing zone based on AWS organizations. You have the possibility to provision resources and accounts from a central place using the AWS Service Catalog, for example. You can share resources, control access to accounts, to regions, or even to services. You can optimize cost and identify cost-saving measures and rely on the seamlessly integration with other AWS security services, for example, with AWS Security Hub, which is mostly used in a lot of AWS control tower environments. So now let's have a look on the benefits of multiple AWS accounts. So why should you use multiple AWS accounts? Even though you can separate workloads in a single account to some extension, and at some points your single account is just no longer scalable for your business. So people can easily destroy each other's configuration, even if it's not on purpose. And you will, of course, have an overhead on structuring your billing and, of course, your uh, um, the operational support for the individual parties will be massive. And that's where you might think of switching to more scalable multi-cloud, multi-account strategy. So why using multiple AWS accounts? So the reason could be, for example, to group your workloads based on business purpose. You can separate your production environment from the test and development, and also apply different guardrails so that your users can, for example, try out new things without breaking the production workload in other accounts. You can also easier manage costs and budgets having one central pay account, and also the management of your account is easier from one central point of view. So you can define the guardrails and apply the guardrails automatically to the whole organization. In that matter, it's a good way to start with AWS organization. You have a central destination to provision your accounts. You have the possibility to secure, audit your environment centrally. You can share resources and control access to accounts, regions, or services. And of course, you have a structured and central billing for all of your accounts. So some of our customers, for example, used the restriction to a single region due to company guardrails. So this is all possible with AWS organization. So In the AWS organization terminology, you will find the definition of a root account, which is the top level of your organizational unit. So the root account is the management and payer account for your organization. And under the root, you will create so-called organizational units, where you can group accounts for specific use cases or environments like production or non-prod or sandbox or whatever else. Like I just mentioned, the organizational units are for grouping accounts within your organization. So organizational units can also contain sub organizational units. You can attach policies to them. So you can, for example, have policies, different policies for production accounts than for non-productive accounts. They are not meant to mirror your own organization reporting structure, and you should use them to assign common security policies and realize operational needs. So when to use organizational units, like we already said, if you want to group similar accounts based on function, apply common policies, share common resources, and provide provision and manage common resources on behalf, of course. Of course. Sorry. The case of multiple AWS organizations is also possible. So in large environments, you might have to use even multiple AWS organizations. For example, if you are a managed service provider like we as the systems, then you can use this possibility to separate different customers into different AWS organizations with also individual payer accounts, guardrails on top of that. So for us, it's really good and helps to scale our customer organizations, and also provides the possibility to manage and support our customer environments from a central point of view. So yeah. All right, design principles for multiple AWS accounts. Let's just real quick jump back and check the status of our landing zone deployment, just to make sure that everything is fine. All right, it's still running. Yeah, sometimes it's if you, for example, did not fulfill every prerequisites, then you can also run into some issues. But AWS or the control tower configuration shows you what to do to resolve this. All right. So let's have a look at the design principles. Yeah, so it is recommended to organize your accounts by security and operational needs. For example, you can create an OU for accounts that might need access to your on-premise environment. In that case, you can apply additional security aspects to protect your account and also your on-premise infrastructure. You can apply guardrails to organizational units and not to accounts. So this is, of course, if you think about the limitations, so you can, for example, apply 5 SCPs per account. So this quite limits your possibilities. Either you need to put everything into one SCP and apply it to the account, or yeah, you have a really limitation here. So if you put the guardrails on top of the OUs, you don't need to attach them directly to your accounts, and you can save some limits. For example, also on the SCPs. And of course, it helps you to keep the overview of your guardrails and prevent things to get messy. So if you think about if you attach every guardrail to a single account, and every guardrail has different configuration, at some point you will just lose the overview. You need to avoid deep, complex OU structure. It's better to keep it simple, start small, and expand on behalf of your demands. And an absolutely no-go is to create workloads in the management or the root account. This should be avoided under all circumstances. So You can work around that with the possibility to provide organizational administrative service access to other accounts in your organization, so that you can use CloudFormation, for example, to deploy solutions from a different central account in your organization. So this possibility is also not quite long. So I think like 2 years ago, it was not possible to do this from other accounts, but since then it's possible. Now you can also deploy services from other accounts in your organization if you delegate that permission. Also really important to separate production from non-production workloads, of course. Have a small set of workload per account. Use federated access for human access, and use automation for agility and scale, which also helps you to reduce human errors and gives you the possibility to recreate your infrastructure based on identical and reusable code. So this makes you faster and reliable in your solution. Recommended OUs. So here's some context to the foundational organizational units. This is just some examples on how your organizational units could look like. So you could have a organizational unit for Sandbox, which we already mentioned a couple of times. You can have different organizational units for different workloads, for a policy staging, for suspended accounts, which makes sense to, kind of separate these accounts which are suspended, because they will be in a suspended state for 90 days. To reverse access and everything from these accounts. You can also have individual business users, exception, deployments, and transitional. And on the foundational level, you should have security, organizational units, and infrastructure or shared services organizational unit for services which you want to share within your organization. So looking at the security organizational unit, you should separate all your security accounts, which in most cases have higher privilege permission, into your organization accounts. In this case, we can see that here it's suggested to have 4 different security accounts. It's separated on, for example, this read-only permission here, which only gives read access to the organization when it's sufficient, of course. You can use it. Then you could have a security break glass for emergency purposes to gain access to systems or services that are not accessible anymore. And this is quite happening a lot. So if you think about this, it's really important to have kind of emergency access possibility. Of course, you could always use a root account to access into these accounts, but it is better to have a kind of secured account in the background you can use to have this access. And of course, you might want to use a security tooling account for the security tools which you need to apply to the organization, and the log archive to store your sensitive CloudTrail logs or similar logs in a central place. So using the infrastructure organizational unit or the shared service organizational unit, you can use it to manage and share central networking or shared resources. Some of our customers follow this approach for their networking resources. They have central networking accounts, which holds all the network-related resources like transit gateways, Route 53 configurations, or VPCs, and share these resources depending on demand with the accounts. And additionally, some recommended OUs like the sandbox accounts. I think we already talked a lot about this, which is mostly used as a playground with some lower guardrails to enable accounts to try out things without breaking the production workload, for example. And of course, we recommend our customers to have a separated workload based on OUs. So you can apply the security restrictions target oriented and not according to watering can method, for example, which might affect users in other accounts, which should not be affected by this guardrails. And this is really better to really separate um, the workload and also separate the guardrails based on the function and use in the different accounts. So generally said, start simple, have a dedicated organizational unit for security tooling, separate your workload by policies and guardrails, and yeah, expand your organizational unit and your structure in your organization on demand. So don't make it really complex from the beginning. Start simple. It's easier to have this overview and expand on behalf. All right, so let me just check before we jump into the existing AWS organizational integration. So we have the landing zone configured, it's up and running. What I'm gonna do is now I'm just gonna create real quick an account here. So we will do this later on in detail more more precisely, but I just want to have an account ready um, because it takes up to 15 minutes to create this account. So we will already be prepared here. And we can continue later on with our demonstration while our second account will be deployed. So let me just do this real quick. As you can see, this account factory is really simple. You just need to fulfill the account email and choose the SSO email, choose the name, and then you can choose also the organizational units which are managed by the control tower. But like I said, I will give you some more insights later on. I just wanted to real quick start the provisioning of this account in the background as it takes 15 minutes. All right, so now let's have a look on how to deal with enabling control tower in an existing organization. So here are some high-level steps. First of all, you need to complete the AWS Control Tower prerequisites. You will get, so there is a user guide on what needs to be fulfilled. I don't want to mention everything here, but it's in the most cases, before you can even start the deployment, the control tower will guide you through what is missing, what needs to be adjusted, and so on. So you can also do this on the fly, but of course it's easier if you prepare for that and do this beforehand. Next step is to set up the control tower and the existing organization. So there is no impact on existing accounts when you deploy the control tower. We will later on see, as we also have a couple of accounts that are deployed in our organization, which at the moment not managed by the control tower. So they will stay as they are. The only thing what the control tower is creating is the protection of the control tower infrastructure. So all these guardrails that are configured in the AWS organization, like the SCPs to prevent resources that the AWS control tower created, can be deleted. If you enroll an existing account to the AWS control tower, it says here that non-invasive baseline guardrail will be deployed. So that means that if you have SCPs attached to this account already, it will stay as it is. The control tower just adds on top of that some other guardrails, some other SCPs, and so on, and config rules, and they will just be added. Of course, if your guardrails that you attach to your accounts were not so restrictive, then this guardrail baseline from the control tower might have an impact on your workload. What happens during the setup? So during the setup, like we saw when we activated the control tower, in our case, the security organizational unit and the sandbox organizational unit will be created. Of course, you can skip it, the sandbox, or change the names, like I mentioned here. And additionally, the log archive and the audit accounts are created and placed in the security OU. Regarding regions, so you have the possibility to choose your home region at the beginning, like I mentioned, and you can later on add additional regions. For example, if you want to some accounts to use other regions, for example, then you can always also update this possibility, but you can't change the home region once you deployed your control tower into it. And like we did, for example, you can also opt out selecting additional regions. So this is this possibility is there, and like I said, you can update it later on. So here is mentioned opting out of a region does not prevent regular AWS operations. So this is what I showed you. So if you say not preventing, if you do not deny this region whitelisting, so to say, or if you not enable the region whitelisting, then your account still can do things in other regions. So, for example, create services in other regions and so on. But if you want to prevent that, you can, of course, enable this as a guardrail during the setup, and the users will not be able to do anything in other regions. And like I mentioned, the AWS SSO or Identity Center must be in the same home region as your control tower, if you already have a SSO configuration, of course. If not, then this will be created automatically. So guardrails, the baseline guardrails, they are only active in the foundational OU, and of course in every additional OU which you created through the launch. So in our case on the sandbox OU, but there is a difference between it, we will see later. And the also the log archive and the audit account, they have some baselines configured to it, which we will see later on also. So the baseline, this allows changes to CloudTrail and AWS config configuration. It prevents changes to all AWS control tower created resources like IAM roles, policies, and so on. But of course, your existing SCPs and your existing config rules, they will stay as it is. So if you enroll guardrails to an account, you need to select the accounts where you want to enroll the control tower beforehand. So this is not done automatically. Only if you place these accounts, for example, in already managed organizational units, then all these guardrails, for example, will be applied automatically, but not existing accounts. So the existing accounts, if you move them into an organizational unit, they will be marked as unregistered, and then you need to enroll this account, and then it will be managed. But we will also play this through later on. I guess it's easier if you see it to understand. Yeah, so the AWS config configuration will create a new channel, S3 bucket, and aggregator in the audit account. Existing rules can coexist, like we said already, with control tower managed rules. But of course, if you have third-party integration that utilize, for example, your own delivery channel, you might need to check that if this is still working, or if you need to change it to the control tower delivery channel. Regarding SCPs, we already mentioned that there is a limitation of 5 SCPs per account. So this is important if you want to enroll your existing account, that you have less than 5, because the control tower utilize 1 SCP per organizational unit at the beginning. Regarding AWS SSO or Identity Management Manager, the home region must be the same as the control tower home region. Already mentioned a couple of times. If you use SSO built-in directory, new permission sets and groups will be created, and the existing permission sets and groups, they will stay. If you use external directory like AD, Azure AD, and so on, there will be no changes. If you don't have SSO, AWS SSO, or Identity Manager, sorry, everyone is still calling SSO actually. So I'm just, we just keep that as it is. This will be created automatically if you do not have a SSO configuration. Yeah, important to note, IAM users, roles, and third-party trust will continue to work as usual. So you can still log, if you, for example, use user log in to some accounts or programmatic access and so on. This will stay as it is. This will be untouched. Yeah, so the CloudTrail will be configured in the log archive account as destination in a S3 bucket. So every logs, CloudTrail logs in the organization from every new account will be directed into this log archive account. And like you mentioned, it's only applicable for accounts and OUs managed by AWS Control Tower. So if you have, if you enroll existing accounts or existing OUs, redundant CloudTrails stay active until you delete it. But of course, you need to be careful. So if you have an organizational trail enabled, this needs to be disabled, because then the control tower configuration will fail, as the control tower configuration needs to set up the organizational trail. But if you have additional trails, they can stay as it is, so no issue to that. The log archive S3 bucket is protected by SCP, so it's, you only can access it with the AWS Control Tower execution role. This is also important to know. So if you want to use this log archive account, log archive S3 bucket, you need to either use the control tower permissions, or you can simply copy, forward the data to a different bucket. Yeah, so the default VPC, so new accounts will receive a default VPC configuration, and this will be deployed automatically to new accounts. in that matter here, the default VPC is this default VPC which is created when you create an account. Then you will see that there is a VPC configured. So on accounts that are coming or that are created by the AWS Control Tower, this default VPC will be deleted automatically, and a new not default, but a new VPC will be deployed into this account. So like you mentioned, you can customize this VPC as part of your networking baseline. If you enroll an existing account, the default VPC is not touched. So because it might be in use, in that case, in the matter of a new account creation, you are sure that this is not used because it's a new account, so nothing can break. But if you have an existing account, then the default VPC is not touched. So just for your information. And also all existing VPCs in that account are not touched. So this is for security safety reasons. Shared resources. So if you use Resource Access Manager to share resources into your organization, there will no changes to that configuration, as AWS Control Tower is not managing Resource Access Manager. If you move your AWS existing accounts to a different organizational unit managed by the Control Tower, you just need to make sure that the targets of your Resource Access Manager are still valid and that everything works fine. And also makes sense to check your VPC subnet, transit gateway, Route 53 resolver, IPAM pools to make sure that everything is working as it is after enrollment. So this shared resource is something that you need to check individually when you enroll an existing account into the Control Tower. So existing account enrollment, some prerequisites here. It is important that the account is in the same AWS organization. This account will needs to have the AWS Control Tower execution role. And there is a difference if you, for example, move an account to an AWS Control Tower managed organizational unit. Then, and if you enroll this account in this organization unit managed by the Control Tower, then this role, Control Tower execution role, will be automatically deployed to this account. But if you want to enroll this account without moving it to an AWS Control Tower managed organizational unit, then you need to create this role manually in your account. Yeah, so you need to delete the AWS config recorder and the delivery channel. Of course, this is, like I said, manually if you not move the account to organizational unit, which is managed by Control Tower. And the next, no conflict with the CloudFormation stack sets that AWS Control Tower will deploy. So you need to check whether there are some conflicts, maybe when the CloudFormation stack sets from the AWS Control Tower create resources, like some naming conventions for whatever reasons. If you use the same naming conventions, of course, then the enrollment will also fail. But in most cases, it should work fine. And the best way is to do, if you move the account to an Control Tower managed organizational unit, click on enroll, then everything will be created automatically. Yeah, we will do this later on also in our demo. So the enrollment of an organizational unit is kind of the same. So it must be in the same AWS organization. The accounts under the target OU are enrolled. So if you enroll in existing organizational units with accounts attached to it, so this will enroll the accounts automatically. It will add automatically the AWS Control Tower execution role to all accounts. Here it mentioned partial error may occur. This is no issue because all the errors and issues which you may see, they are really good described, so you can resolve them easily. So the description of the errors is really good, I have to say, and you can resolve the issues really fast. Nested OUs under the target OU must be registered separately, so this it needs to be done additionally. And nested OUs receive preventive guardrails automatically. So this is also important to know. Also regarding the SCP limitations, for example, that you check that your organizational units also have not more than 5 SCPs attached. And the nested organizational units are maximum of 5 levels. So if you have sub-organizational units, you can go down to 5 levels. All right. Yeah, some notes from the field. Start with less critical accounts, of course. Enroll the organization unit to scale your work. So I would always recommend to start with the organizational unit, move the accounts to that unit, and enroll the accounts afterwards. Make sure the owner of the accounts is participating and understands what is happening during their enrollment. Understand the scope and the effect of the restrictions, if there's any. As you might see, there is not really that many. And okay, I just got a notification. Can you still hear me? Yeah, Alexa?
Yes,
All right,
on
okay.
the left.
Okay, so I just popped up here. All right. And so of course, if you have critical workloads and you have accounts where you have a lot of guardrails already enabled, then I really recommend you to check if there is some complications or things that will be affected by the enrollment of the account. But in most cases, it's really simple. So there is no big issue if you enroll the accounts into the control tower. And yeah, we will do this later on in our demo. So I would say let's make our hands dirty and go into the account creation, first of all.
It seems we have some kind of question in the chat.
Okay.
Where is the workshop question engine? Not 100% sure. I guess referring to the official documentation. Hands-on lab.
Yeah. So in this webinar today, we will do the hands-on workshop. So we will demonstrate how to do things, but of course you can do this afterwards in your own environment. So what we follow is actually the official control tower immersion activation day. So every steps here you can go through. Today we will just look at the account factory. So we will show how to create the accounts. We will show how to enroll existing accounts into control tower. And later on, Alexa will show how to customize the control tower with the customization for control tower. So this is just some parts. Due to the limitation of users and also of time, we decided to do it that way. But we might have some real hands-on labs and accounts in future in our future activation day. So for today, we will do our hands, make our hands dirty, and you can you can watch making our hands dirty. Yeah. Okay. So then let's jump into our account. So as you can see, the control tower configuration is now available. It says 2 organizational units, one for your shared accounts and one for your accounts or by your users. 3 shared accounts deployed. So the additional account which we deployed later on is also already added here. We have a native cloud directory with pre-configured groups and single sign-on. So if you go to SSO, you will see that there is already an SSO configuration or identity. I have to keep this name here, Identity Center. It's so fresh. So you can see that there is already this configuration. You can add additional users. So we will do this for one of our accounts, and yeah, log in into account and try to test our guardrail later on. So this is the dashboard. You can see here in the control tower dashboard all the registered organizational unit. You can see if they are registered. That means they are managed by the control tower. You can check the compliance status if they are compliant. You can also see all the informations above here. So we have 2 organizational units, 4 accounts because the management account also counts kind of in the summary here. And if we, for example, have non-compliant resources, then this will be marked here in this field and also here in this compliance overview. You can see here the details of the enrolled accounts. So we have our audit, our demo account, which I created, the log archive, and our landing zone root account. And at the bottom here, you also have these guardrails. Some of them are enabled, some are not enabled. So, for example, we will start with one guardrail which we will enable to one of our test accounts, which we will create, which we already created. So first of all, let's go through this views maybe here. So since a couple of weeks, you can also have this organizational view here in the control tower. So it's the same view which you have if you go to AWS organizations. So you can do it that way, or if you search for AWS organizations. There you can see the same structure of your organization. So we have the root account followed by all these organizational units, in our case, test, sandbox, security, deleted, and custom. So the sandbox and the security account is created during the setup of our control tower configuration. And this is why you see it as registered. And of course, the root account is the management account. That's why it's also enrolled and registered in this view. But of course, we have a couple of accounts and organizational units which are in an unregistered state. So we have this deleted OU where we place our deleted accounts. We have some custom accounts here, and we have some test accounts which we later use to move to one of our organizational units and also to enroll this setting. So maybe let's start with doing that. So if I go to the AWS organization and move one of our test accounts to our managed sandbox, for example, fortunately, this option is not yet possible. So you can't move the account here. I guess this will be updated soon. So then you really have all these functions that you have from the AWS organization view. But at least you already have the view on that. So now you can see we have our AWS account, which we already had before we created the control tower here as stated not enrolled. So if we now want to enroll this account to our organizational unit or to our control tower environment to be managed by the control tower, we just simply say enroll. We can choose the organizational unit where we want to enroll this account. And then we just simply say enroll account. You will get some information here. So for example, you must manually authorize account before enrolling it. But this is only if you enroll this account not in a managed control tower organizational unit. In our case, that's fine because the sandbox OU is managed, and that means that every resource will be created automatically. So, okay, looks like we have an issue with this name because we already enrolled this account, so no issues. This is easy to resolve. We're just gonna use a different account real quick. Let's use this account here. So if we are used this already a couple of times, that means that in the background, in the service catalog, of course, this enrollment is created as a product. So in our case, this was already done. So this is why we could either delete this product from the service catalog or we just use a different account. So I'm just going to use a different test account here, which now is in the enrollment. So if we go to Sandbox, you can see, refresh it. You can see that the enrollment started. So this takes a couple of minutes. And you can also see that in the service catalog, this is actually an initiated product. So the control tower account factory is here in the service catalog provided as a portfolio. You have this product which we'll just go through later on, and here you can see provision products that the control tower is really using it, this service catalog product, to enroll all these guardrails to this account. So it's mentioned here under change, so it's running. And yeah, so let's wait for this to be enrolled. Meanwhile, we can have a look into the account factory and create, for example, a new account here. So just gonna use one of our email addresses here. So the account creation, what we see here, we need to provide an account email, which is the root email, so to say, for this account. We need to provide a display name for this account. So I'm just going to name it demo account 2. We need to provide the SSO email. So this is the access to the to this account. So I'm just gonna add the same email here. Or just change it to demo user. And then I can choose the organizational unit where I want to deploy this account. So as the security is restricted area, I can only deploy the accounts into the additional organizational unit. So, for example, I can create an additional organizational unit and then choose it from this drop down here later on. So we're gonna use the sandbox organizational unit. That should be fine. We're gonna create this account here. So as I mentioned before, this account creation takes up to 15 minutes. That's why I created already one test account just to show you how also the guardrail configuration works. So in our example, we just left the network configuration as it is. So this is the default network baseline configured by the control tower. And but of course, you can also have your different baseline networking configuration, which you can apply automatically to these accounts. So this account factory is just something what is pointing to the AWS service catalog. Okay, so the enrollment. Okay, the enrollment canceled because I guess I just started this new account deployment. But anyways, let's keep it as it is. So like I said, this control tower account factory is just a dashboard for the portfolio or the account factory, which is provided in the AWS service catalog. So in the AWS service catalog, you can create your own products also for managing accounts. For example, you could automate things like restarting EC2 instances and provide this as services to your organization, to your account. So our customers, for example, have some central networking accounts where they want to restrict, of course, access to only special users. And in that case, they provided these products to the users to be able, for example, to add IP whitelisting to whitelist domains and so on. So the users do not need to log into this networking account. They just can use the service catalog to provision this product, to do the changes on the central resources managed by the platform team. So this is just an example. This product is created automatically when you create the control tower configuration. And it's the same view if you go to this product and you want to launch an account from this here. You will see that it also asks the same parameters like the account email, the account name, the organizational unit, the SSO email, the username, and so on. So it's just really front end on top of the service catalog, which we can already see here. And so, for example, for one of our customers, we also provided an automation so that the customers can create AWS accounts from their on-premise cloud management tool. So the service catalog has an API, so you can launch products programmatically and initiate the account creation programmatically. So this is possible, but of course, this requires some configuration and configuration and development, of course, to provide this. So this is why we created for our customers and so to say API he could integrate into his own cloud management tool based on VMware and create accounts based on that. So this is just an example customization which you can also use in your environment. All right, so while this account is being created, I'm just gonna go to our lab here, and we will now create or activate a guardrail to one of our organizational units. So in that case, the sandbox unit. And we will log in into our account and see how this guardrail works and how this compliance is visualized in the dashboard. So we will use the S3 versioning guardrail. So let's check here. Detect whether versioning for Amazon S3 bucket is enabled. So this guardrail is elective. It's a detection. So it checks if an S3 bucket in an account is created without the versioning activated. So let's enable this guardrail for our sandbox OU. Yeah.
You have to wait a bit.
Yeah, I guess so. We did too much at the same time. So yeah, as the service catalog is quite sensitive because in the background some CloudFormation configurations are running, you also want to make sure that you wait for the account creation to be done. So at the moment, you only can create one account. But I already saw that the Control Tower team is working on some possibilities to create multiple accounts at the same time. So this will be added soon. So let's give this some time real quick. All right. So this is still in an enrolling state, our account here. And the enrolled. And the second account is also in creation and mentioned as not enrolled. So this is still running. Let's have a look into our product. So, okay, this was failed. Demo account under change. All right, so this takes up to 15 minutes. Let me just check real quick again if we can enable this guardrail meanwhile somehow. Maybe we need to use a different organizational unit. Let's just create an organizational unit. Also did it. So if we create an organizational unit from the dashboard, then every guardrail is automatically attached to this organizational unit. So we're gonna name it demo OU. You can also here choose where you want to place your organizational unit. So in our case, we will just place it under the root account. But if you want to place it under some already existing organizational unit, you can of course create this as a sub-organizational unit. So let's create this. All right, so looks like
Too impatient.
yeah, I'm too impatient. All right, we need to wait
until it's done.
Yeah, this is actually the issue because of these, like I mentioned to the service catalog. Okay, yeah, so it takes some time. All right. So now it's a good moment to grab a coffee or something to drink if you haven't, and we will just wait real quick for this account creation to be done, and then we can continue with our guardrail tests. So meanwhile, do we have some questions maybe, Alexa?
Yeah, someone is asking, if we will provide the engine for this workshop.
No, so we will not provide an engine, like I mentioned earlier. We will show or demonstrate this hands-on labs in our test environment. Yeah, due to the number of participants and also the time, as we only have 4 hours, we will not be able to do this. But we are planning to do some more hands-on labs for or workshops for the users in future. So this is at the moment not possible, but of course you can follow the AWS Control Tower Immersion Day workshop and use your own environment to go through the workshop. So like I mentioned, yeah. All right. Any additional questions? Let me just open it. I think I can't really see it here. Let me just go here. Yeah. So regarding the costs, so if you want to use this in your own environment, there is no costs if you activate the control tower. So you only pay for services which you deploy in your account. So it's really not that expensive. I can really recommend to try it out in your own environment if you want to, and just go through this official AWS Immersion Day workshop and try everything out by yourself. Will you be sharing a recording of the session? No, unfortunately not. So we are not recording the session, Kuhan.
But we can take a note for the next time.
Yeah. So as this is our first AWS Activation Day, we also want to get some feedback from you guys. So maybe for the next time, we should plan a recording, of course. So this is the first of multiple AWS activation days, which we planned for the future. So there will be more, and you can also join the next time, or if you have colleagues who couldn't join today, they can definitely join the next time, next sessions. All right. So when did I start it? So it's almost 50 minutes. So let's wait more couple of minutes, and then we can continue with our test cases.